Hello, everyone. I'm Dafina Pereva, and I am a fifth year, sixth grade ELA teacher at E.T. Booth Middle School. I am currently in the last semester of the Instructional Technology Program, graduate program at Kennesaw State University. And fruitful as this journey has been for me, I struggled immensely throughout the program, really due to uncontrollable factors outside of the program. I began my graduate journey 2 short months before becoming a first-time mom to my now precious 2-year-old daughter, and that was all done during the height of a worldwide pandemic. So prior to motherhood, I had always thought of myself as a very well put together individual with immaculate time management skills, and student life paralleled with motherhood for the first time, and full-time teaching on top of that. I had different plans for me. So I learned to be more intentional with my time and to loosen up because things weren't always going to go as I had planned, and I just had to learn to be okay with that. So really, some of my lessons that I'd learned were to just be intentional with my time and to let go of perfectionism because there is no such thing as being perfect. Um, Despite the major life changes that occurred during this adventure, I learned more about technology and its use in the classroom environment than I ever could have imagined. I shamefully and proudly at the same time admit that I went from using technology in my classroom as a time filler, really, to coaching other teachers how to use it effectively in their classrooms and not as a time filler. And this leads me to my capstone project. And this is what I essentially chose to focus my study on. So the title of my capstone project is Online Professional Development on Canvas Studio to Create Student Engagement. And this problem really prompted and drove this project forward because it felt as though the current professional development model at my school was not what I would have liked to see to show true growth whenever we're learning about technology and its use in the classroom. So the current professional model really focuses on just the promotion of various technological tools rather than the instructional uses of those various tools that are being promoted. So the need really derived from the fact that teachers did not need any more ideas of digital tools to be used in the classroom. Rather, we needed coaching, proper coaching to use those tools as effectively and as efficiently as possible throughout a continuous in-person but also like online professional development session. So my capstone project plan began with designing how to implement this project at large with teachers on a professional development day. And so I'm going to navigate myself down to my table here. Right here. So my plan really consisted of first introducing Canvas Studio to teachers at E.T. Booth Middle School, specifically within the sixth grade PD day, just because our school divides up PDs based on grade level. And so upon the introduction, teachers would be assisted on how to integrate Canvas Studio into their classrooms for a more blended learning environment. So the project was supposed to conclude with an evaluation survey after going through introductions and things of that sort. A couple of the other activities that I had planned were to hand out instructions for how to upload videos, record videos, and add to collections, training sessions on introduction to the Canvas Studio and to aid teachers in the using of this tool within their classrooms. I had also planned to meet with E.T. Booth Middle School's ILS on the finding of the lessons through Canvas Studio, and then collaborating with the ILS to kind of keep this project moving forward. I'm going to navigate back into my PowerPoint here. And so some of the, like my evaluation plan to address the issues of a lack of a solid professional development model with an ongoing support for teachers, a mentoring model of professional development on Canvas Studio with an ongoing face-to-face and online support was supposed to be implemented. So the evaluation plan was really supposed to consist of surveys to kind of gather information in a more formal manner. Some of this also occurred informally, just through conversations and such. Some of my survey questions that I used to kind of get feedback from teachers included whether they'd even heard of Canvas Studios before, because even though we sit in these meetings, you know, sometimes people are not able to attend, and then there's never really any, there's not really a process to kind of go about catching those people up. So that was one of my questions that I was interested in knowing, what experiences they'd had with Canvas Studio in the past after they'd been introduced to it, and how many times in the last 2 weeks that they'd actually used it. And then lastly, I was interested to know if teachers would be more likely to incorporate the use of Canvas Studio within their classrooms if they were provided one-on-one ongoing coaching sessions on this tool, as opposed to the generic, here's the tool, this is what you can do with it type of session that we initially received. Navigate back to my PowerPoint. Okay. So my experience with the Capstone Project and the results really at large were far from what I had envisioned when I initially proposed this project. The planning of this project began when COVID was still at its all-time height. Canvas Studio was briefly introduced the prior calendar school year, and it was really done through a flipped PD, which means it was done online. They gave us a module list of things to complete, look through, and then that was considered our PD. So I was excited to begin my work with coaching other people on Canvas Studio for student engagement until really reality kind of set in, and we were told that ETBMS would no longer really have laptops the way that we'd had them before. So we went from being a one-to-one school to, as it states here, a 2-to-1 school, and we are projected to be a 3-to-1 school by the beginning of the next school year. So when all of this was announced, it was a little bit shocking. Again, this was all happening at the height of COVID. So apart from just that strain alone, when we received this news, this became a little bit more intense, because now it really did affect the way that this project would be navigated. So the reduction in technology really did create a major shift in attitude, and teachers really deviated away from technology altogether, since each teacher really only had access to 10 laptops per class. And so really what a lot of teachers did to accommodate this new laptop restriction was to just create everything on paper, and then to supplement the technology in the classroom, the 10 that were provided to us for really special cases, students who needed it for read aloud options, for special needs accommodations and things of that sort. Um, so to reflect on this project as a whole, it was tough. It was really tough. I cannot say that I enjoyed the experience because I encountered many barriers than I would have liked. And I like to think of myself as a flexible person, but I'm also very much a planner. And I like to stick to my plan as closely as possible with very few deviations. And so this project was everything but that. And I do feel like I learned many valuable, just lifelong lessons throughout this adventure. Being that a teacher and knowing that things can and will typically not go the way that we plan them, I should have been more prepared for what I encountered, but I did not expect it. And so it was an interesting experience to say. Still something that I'm happy and proud of because a lot of research went into the creation of um, this project as a whole. And even though things didn't go as planned, I still feel like I took many valuable things away from it that I can also apply um, inside the classroom, outside of the classroom, and then further on when I am furthering my education for myself. Here's a link of my Weebly page. This is where I documented all of my findings throughout the course of this project.